Okay, now that you literally know just about everything there is to know about the micro aspects of handgun selection, let's bring all this back to the real world and talk about how these characteristics blend to affect your decisions about what handgun you should buy and carry concealed or keep for home defense. So, you should know that handgun selection is a topic that we cover in thorough detail, both in our complete concealed carry guide curriculum piece and in Master Handgun Accuracy. In both of those pieces, we discuss handgun selection from slightly different angles. That said, here I want to arm you with what I call the Healthy Handgun Mindset. And by giving you this mindset, which we're going to talk about right here in this chapter, that's the whole point. By giving you this mindset, you're going to be able to apply everything you now know about handguns to real-world handgun selection for the purpose of answering the following questions. How do all the characteristics that we covered in this program affect us as individuals? What should we keep in mind when choosing a handgun for concealed carry, or for home defense, or for target shooting? And perhaps more elusively of all, is there a be-all, end-all best option? Does the ultimate handgun exist? Unfortunately, the answer to that question is no. The ultimate handgun does not exist. Because as you now know, going through those 15 characteristics, every single one of them represents a choice you have to make, a compromise you have to make. I mean, just looking back to handgun length, the shortest possible handgun would be a pleasure to carry concealed. And yet we wouldn't be able to hit anything with it, and the rounds wouldn't accelerate to a very lethal speed if it was that short. Now, the longer the handgun, the more accurate we'd be able to be, and the faster that bullet will be going as it's firing, and the more comfortable it would be to fire because the felt recoil would be severely diminished. And yet, in that best case scenario, the gun would be completely unconcealable. And so, in that same way, as we've discussed, every one of these 15 characteristics comes with a sliding scale of compromises between ideal and dysfunctional. And in our personal lives, for our personal applications, we have to draw a line on those scales. And here's the thing. Every single handgun in existence represents a hard and fast choice between each of these characteristics somewhere on that scale. You see what I mean by that? The Glock 26, for example, has made its choice between all 15 of these factors and the infinite number of compromises between each one of them. To visualize what I'm referring to better, we can imagine a perfectly horizontal line. At one end of the line, we would write the least effective firearms at stopping human threats from trying to kill you. But at the other extreme end of the line, we would write the most effective firearms for stopping a human threat from trying to kill you. And then, if we could spend enough time evaluating every firearm out there, long gun and short gun, based on the characteristics that we talked about, every single gun would fit somewhere on that line. Continuing the visualization, we can know that the best handguns for this job absolutely do exist. But obviously, they're completely impractical and impossible for concealed carry, for most purposes. And so the first step in selecting a handgun for self-defense is to decide whether or not you will need to carry this handgun concealed, right? I mean, if it's a home defense application, your decision is pretty easy. You simply get the most powerful handgun that you can still control under rapid fire, one that has the largest magazine possible. This is going to be very similar to the types of handguns that police officers carry. A Glock 17, or a Springfield XDM, or an H&K USP, or a Beretta 92, and the list goes on and on and on. But if you do need to carry this handgun concealed, meaning if it's for more than simple home defense, then visualizing this long line of firearms, we have to cut this line, or we have to cut off this list of firearms where they become too big to carry concealed for you personally. And so that becomes the extreme edge of the handguns that we can possibly carry concealed. Now, go way down to the other end of the line, and we've got to cut the line again. But this time, we're going to remove all handguns that are underpowered for stopping a human attacker who's trying to kill you. And so, once you've eliminated the guns at either extreme, where they become impractical or useless, all the guns remaining on this list are those that we have to choose from. And so, which ones do we choose? Because after all, this is going to leave literally hundreds of options.